Hi everybody. Today we're doing a mini-sode on your goals, setting goals, how to work with goals, how to achieve goals, how to kind of flesh them out and map them out in a way that works for you. This is the You Don't Know Me podcast, and I'm Juliana J. And today's mini episode is working with your goals. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about with regards to goals. So oftentimes we have goals that are very lofty or large. For example, it could be something like graduating from college, graduating from high school, getting a better job, finding a soulmate, things like that. And so working with the goal is sometimes hard because the goal is so big that it's challenging to stick with and to stay motivated during that time. So we're going to talk about how to kind of break down your goal into manageable pieces and how to stay motivated and how to create a goal that works for you. So first, I think it's really important to write it all down so you can refer to it. So take out a piece of paper. Some people use really big pieces of paper, and some people use something small, like, let me get a piece of paper here, like this. Okay, so you're going to write your goal at the top of the page like this. This is your goal. Like for me, a goal might be this podcast being really received well and helping a lot of people and just really take off the ground and do amazing. This would be my big goal. Now, underneath my goal, I want to write down, how would I measure the success? So, for example, how would I measure the success of a successful podcast? I might measure my success by 100,000 subscribers on both my YouTube and in the other platforms that I'm on. I might measure my goal in terms of how many people get back to me that I've helped them, and what is the reason for my goal. This might be for me to help people to become financially independent, something of that nature. So you write your goal on the top. How will you measure your goal? And what is the reason for your goal? Now, under this goal, you're going to break it down a bit to mini goals. So your mini goal might be, like, say for me, I want to have this successful podcast. So my mini goal might be researching content for episodes, researching how to get the word out about my podcast, how to structure a podcast, how to even make a podcast and get it onto various platforms, what those might be. And underneath this, I'm going to again write my measure for success for each goal. How will I know when I achieved it? It might be something like say, for example, you want to work on your self-worth or something like that. And one of your mini goals is to read these books you've been running to read. That might be like, you might measure your success if, say, this mini goal was to read a certain book or do a certain amount of research. I might measure success by finishing that book and understanding it or something of that nature. How are you going to measure these milestones and make sure that you're actually doing what you need to do? Now, under these mini goals, you might have mini goals. For example, you might have, if, say, this is my successful podcast, and this mini goal is determining what platforms I need to do. This mini goal might be researching what these platforms might actually be, right? So you kind of keep going with this, keep breaking down your goals further with the same kind of thing. So you have your major goal, you have how you're going to measure the success of that goal, reasons why you want that goal. Then you're going to break down that goal into mini goals or steps, and you're going to break down the mini into mini, and mini, and so on. And you'll know when you get to the bottom of your pyramid here, because these goals will become easy to obtain. For example, going with my original thing, I want to have a successful podcast. I'm going to research, I'm going to put it on certain platforms. I'm going to research what those platforms are. And I'm going to ask around or look around to see what platforms are out there, and I can do this goal today. I can find out where to start today, and then I can start doing the research and reading, and then I can figure out what the platforms are, and then I can put my first episode up for everybody to see. I can start creating content once I do these other things, right? So you break it down until you get to a goal that's really easy to achieve in, say, a day or a week or maybe 2 weeks, something like that. When you know you've got the mini goals are finally things you know how to do directly, because this goal will lead you to knowledge for this goal, which will lead you to knowledge up here, and so on. So that's what you're building. You're building these little steps up to your big goal. Now, throughout this whole process, every time you add a mini goal, you want to write, how will you know you've achieved the goal? What's the measure of success for each goal? And you want to put that underneath each one, even though I haven't written it here. You're going to do the same. Now you're going to think about, what are the motivation factors that are going to keep you doing this? What might those things be? What's your reason for this major goal? What's your reason for this mini goal? Well, my mini goal is going to get me to this big goal, but also I'll have more knowledge, so I'll be more successful and be able to talk about my situation. If, say, this was a new job, these might be getting a different skills, doing some research, networking, updating my resume. Then these down here might be, where do I go for networking opportunities? Where do I go for classes or workshops or information I need to be better at my job or to do this new job? What skills do I need? Researching that, figuring out where to go to obtain the skills. It might be, I'm going to research what current resumes and CVs look like, and I'm going to update my resume with this information that I'm going to research. And they all play together. Maybe you've done this one. I've done this one. Now now I'm updated. My resume is updated. Now I need to work on networking opportunities. Where might those be? I need to do some research, and then I need to go to those events or be a part of whatever that networking situation is, and so on. Okay. Now that you have this, you're going to break it down into timelines. You're going to break each section down into timelines. How long do you think it will take to achieve your overall goal? If this is, say, graduating from college, you probably know it's probably going to be around 4 years, right? So down here, your mini goals might be researching places you want to go to school, applying, doing the research that you need to apply successfully, applying and getting in. It might be, I'm going to research what I want to do. I'm going to go to a junior college for 2 years. Then I'm going to look at how to apply and learn how to apply, maybe take a workshop, and then I'm going to apply to college. And this is a 4-year process. So you mark out the timelines. Sometimes you can work from the top down if it's a 4-year goal or something like that, or sometimes you can work from the top up, but you sort of fill in the timelines, and do this in pencil because this is a working document. You're going to be changing things as things happen. Maybe something happens in your life and you get thrown off your mini goal for a week or two because an emergency came up. You want to have some flexibility in your timelines, and don't use this to beat yourself up about. This is a working document. So it's just a map, and you're going to change it as you need to. So the other thing you want to do is really outline what's going to keep you motivated throughout all these mini goals. What's going to keep you motivated? How are you going to stay motivated, especially if it's a long-term 4-year commitment, right? Or something like that. Like, how am I going to stay motivated to make these podcasts every week to be successful? And your motivation factors can be things like, because I want a better job. I want to do something fulfilling. I want to help people. I want to have more free time. It could be, if you're wanting to go to college, I want to get a better job. I want to buy a car. I want to have a job that I feel proud about. I want to do something I'm interested in. I want to learn more, things like that. Write down what all your motivators are, and you can kind of keep them off to the side here so you can look at it and figure it out. Because sometimes one of these mini goals you think is going to be easy and it's not, and it requires more. You can break the mini goal down further by isolating it out and putting it on a separate piece of paper, very similar to this. And the mini goal goes up here with your goal. And then you sort of break it down into these smaller, doable chunks. that you can do. Same exactly like this, but you can do it for any mini goal that seems to be more involved than you originally thought. And keep these accessible. So you're going to look at them every day. Maybe you look at them in the morning and then you also review them at night. It depends on how you want to go about this, but keep these either pinned up on your wall or somewhere you can easily access them so you can look at them often and stay on track. And again, these documents you're revising them all the time. You're always updating them. Maybe there's more mini goals that get added. Maybe on your journey of starting way down here, you're going, you're climbing your pyramid, and then you realize like, wow, I learned something so cool in this mini goal. I'm actually kind of veering off into another trajectory. Maybe this goal needs revision. You can do that too, because this is a working document. And it's not something to make you feel bad about yourself if you don't reach all the goals in the timelines you originally set forth for yourself. You can rearrange those and change them a little bit, but you don't want to get so free-flowing with them that you start procrastinating and putting them off, right? The timeline is to help you with any procrastination factors that come your way. The motivation factors are also really important for that, because motivation is going to keep you working towards your goals. Motivation, super important. It's going to keep you walking forward and wanting to achieve these things. So that is my little mini way of how to work with your goals. I think by breaking them down, you can be much more successful than trying to tackle something huge, because as you know, whenever you do anything that's a long period of time, like graduating from high school, it can seem so far away. You sort of lose your motivation as time's going on, and you sort of lose your reason why you're even doing what you're doing, depending on your situation. It's being able to keep your eye on a prize that keeps you moving forward, to stay motivated, and to break down these prizes into smaller, doable chunks that are really easy to do in a week, 2 week, a month, 6 months, something like that. But if you map it all out, you can stay on track and not lose your way. And revise when you need to revise. A lot can happen in 4 years' time if you have a long-range goal like that. So let me know how it goes with your goals. I'm really, really excited, and we'll do more on this. I'm going to do next week's podcast. It's going to be on just motivation and keeping your motivation for certain things, and really delving deep into, is your motivation yours or someone else's motivation? Do you own it? Do you not? For example, any one of these mini goals I could have been something that doesn't resonate with me as a human being. Like, say one of these mini goals is really to just be on social media all the time, doing all kinds of stuff, promoting myself everywhere. And I just don't have the bandwidth for that because I have another job and things like that. And so that mini goal doesn't really jive with my lifestyle. So I would want to revise that mini goal into something that was doable for me. Maybe it's, I need to go on social media, but I only do 2 posts a week or something like that, something doable. Some of these mini goals, if you don't feel good about them, trust your intuition. You don't have to go the same route everybody else goes. You can take another route, but trust your intuition when you write down a mini goal that makes you feel like, gross, I don't really want to do that. Then you need to really contemplate what that means for you and how you can make that mini goal something that goes with your person and who you are as a human being. So that's it, goals. We're going to talk about motivation and more about goals next week. So stay tuned. And until then, know that I love you and I support you, and you can achieve this goal. We're going to talk a lot about motivation and manifesting in the coming weeks around your goals. And we're going to put it all together in this nice package that you can really work with nicely. But until then, manifest your goals and your mini goals and your mini goals. You could do it. I believe in you. I love you. Take good care.